Walk with the Lord, hosted by Brother Gil on Sundays. Welcome back to the second segment of Walk with the Lord program. So go back to where we left off, Brother Nick, after the third incident.
All right. All right, where were we? Oh, yeah, I was talking about
the third incident.
How I had caught her. So basically, after that, that's when reality started setting in really hard, and all the events prior to that were coming back to mind. The following year was coming to mind. All the dots were starting to connect, but not to their fullest. Mm-hmm. So I started seeing all the ways that I was both good and bad. Mm-hmm. I started seeing, that I needed to become a better husband, but she also needed to start becoming a better wife. Mm-hmm. The whole thing made me, it caused me to be a little bit more humble. Mm-hmm. And it's really weird because, although she had done what she had done, and there's, at the end of the day, no excuse for it, mm-hmm. I started becoming forgiving. Mm-hmm. So this had continued on, and believe it or not, I need to say this: a couple of weeks had passed, and where I had stepped up and I started doing more things around the house to please her. Mm-hmm. And I had always made her lunch and stuff like that before, but I started doing it more and more progressively, and then started doing more things for her to show her that I was trying to be better. I was trying to be the better guy. Mm-hmm. And even tried, taking her out. I took her out to eat like every night anyways, but I don't know why I just kept trying to take her out more and more. Mm-hmm. To try and build our relationship. Mm-hmm. So anyways, a couple weeks had gone by, actually a few weeks had gone by, and there was one night where I got the eerie feeling again. So what I had done was I got in my truck, and I already knew where the dude lived. And I drove over the one night just because the feeling that I was having, this gut instinct inside of me was telling me that I needed to go. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to satisfy that curiosity, and I went. Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, I saw her car in his driveway. Mm-hmm. Well, so I knocked on the door, which was kind of awkward, but I did it. I just parked, and I got out of my truck, and I walked right up to the door, without a single care, and boldly I walked up to that door and I knocked on it, and he answered, and I saw her sitting on his couch, and I looked right at her and I said, "Thou shalt not commit adultery." Mm-hmm. And then I pointed at him and I said, "Thou shalt not covet."
Thy neighbor's wife.
And immediately after saying that, I felt this power come over me that I can't really describe, because I don't know where the heck that came from. Maybe it had been my Christian upbringing, but still I couldn't really put a finger on it, Mm-hmm. So then, I looked at her and I pointed at her again and I said, "Get your ass in the car and get home right now. I'm your husband. This guy's not, and this is not going to work out well for either one of you if this continues." Mm-hmm. So anyways, from that point forward, reality really set in. and I felt like my whole world had been ripped out from underneath me, and my foundations had been leveled, and I was completely and utterly broken. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize how broken I was until weeks had gone by, and this continued. I remained there for till February, mm-hmm. late February. I stayed in Florida, and I dealt with this. Mm-hmm. And I figured that, you know, I'm gonna push through this, and so I started seeking guidance from everyone and everywhere that I could find. I started paying for online counseling, which really wasn't helping. Watching YouTube videos about, you know, being a better husband and divorce and marriage, and talking with friends, but you know what? None of it was working. Mm-hmm. I started not eating, and started drinking a lot, because, you know, I was with a lot of friends, and they're all retired, and, well, we drank anyways because we fished all the time. Mm-hmm. But I started drinking in sorrow. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't working. And no matter how much I tried to force myself to eat, that wasn't working either. Mm-hmm. So that, in combination with a lot of drinking, and then I started walking a lot. Mm-hmm. And riding my bike a lot. Mm-hmm. And I mean, probably 10 miles a day. I went from being 190 pounds down to 158 pounds in a matter of a few weeks.
Wow, man. Okay.
Now, I looked good, but I didn't feel good. I felt like I felt sickly internally. Externally, I could start seeing in my face that I didn't look very, very good. Mm. So anyways, I need to move this forward a little bit faster. I had gotten to such an emotional low, followed almost equally by such a physical low, that I was sick both in and out. Mm-hmm. Because I had realized that I had expelled every single resource at my disposal to make me feel better, mm-hmm. and to give me better understanding, and none of it was working. And I was just absolutely crying. I was in tears all the time. Mm-hmm. I was even though I hadn't eaten anything, I was throwing up all the time. Mm-hmm. And you know, in case you hadn't noticed, I have Tourette's also, and so that doesn't really make things any better, because, you know, that followed by anxiety and depression, and, you know, the not eating and drinking alcohol, and the emotional level that I was at, I was bad. I was really bad.
Your health is deteriorating by what you're doing, especially the internals. When that you know, alcohol, no food, you know, it's basically you're marinating your organs.
Oh, I was past pickled, man. I was dead. I was dead. I was I was a walking corpse. Mm-hmm. It was spiritually, mentally, physically, the whole gamut. Mm. I had literally had my entire life was gone. Mm. It was ripped from. I was just a walking shell. Mm. So, anyways, there came a day where I had realized that I needed to start I felt this overwhelming feeling come over me where I needed to reach out to something that I had never imagined before, and it was at that moment that I put my faith and my trust into something that I didn't know. Mm-hmm. And that was the moment that I reached out to Christ.
Mm-hmm. How How did you, have you heard the gospel prior to this? Have any friends that tried to invite you to church or share the gospel with you personally?
No.
Mm-hmm.
I actually well, like I said, I mean, I was raised Russian Orthodox, so there was lots of tradition going on in my house.
Uh-huh.
And everything revolved around God.
Mm-hmm.
But most of it was traditions and religion.
Yeah.
And from 5th grade to 8th grade, I went to St. Paul's Lutheran School in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, there was a lot of Bible study and hymns, and, you know, I was in all kind of church plays and choirs and the church band. I was involved in the church big time. Mm-hmm. And that was in the Lutheran church.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? That didn't make me a Christian.
Yep, that's right.
And the only thing that I knew was that there was a God.
Mm-hmm.
But I just didn't know him.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, so I guess I should add that when these things happened, I was 44 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 47 now, so I'm still a babe in Christ.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get to that later.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, no, I had no relationship with Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. And even though I had a Christian upbringing and I went to Christian schools and all those other things, it made me no Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anything of the actual gospel. Mm-hmm. I didn't know to call on Jesus Christ and you'll be saved and believe with him with all your heart and that he rose again from the dead. None of that. I didn't know nothing. I was illiterate when it Christianity. At true Christianity, I was illiterate. Mm-hmm. So flash forward to the time we're talking about. No, nobody was around, and that's a key point here. To preach the gospel. Mm-hmm. Nobody tried to. Nobody asked me to come to church with them. Mm-hmm. Nobody, nothing. I didn't have a Bible, any of that. What I did do was given me by the Lord to call on him, and I did. And I do remember there was a day I was in the shower, and I was just crying my eyes out when I was in the shower. And I remember specifically saying that I said, Lord, I'm so much stronger than this. You know, I need you, and I was bawling, and I was literally, I had my arm up in the air, and I was reaching up. Mm-hmm. And I begged him to forgive me. Mm-hmm. And, forgive me my sins and forgive me for being, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I just begged him to save me from this. Mm-hmm. And no, literally, man, I can't make this up. Mm-hmm. The moment that I did that, I felt, this sounds really corny, and I don't blame anybody for calling me, dude, you just drank the Kool-Aid. I assure you nobody drank any Kool-Aid at that time. I was in the shower and I was bawling. But I felt a hand on my right shoulder, and I put my left hand up on my right shoulder, because it felt so real. Mm-hmm. And even though I knew there was nobody there, nothing there, because she wasn't there, nobody was there, I had felt it there. And I did that. And I for a brief moment in my life, when I was at my absolute lowest of lows, bawling in tears, crying out for something that I didn't know what I was crying to, I actually laughed. I smiled and I laughed.
Okay.
For, like, I don't know, a couple of seconds. It's like for a couple of seconds, I felt relief. And then the feeling was gone and I was back in reality and in tears. But I felt afterwards, after that feeling had happened, this kind of gets a little bit emotional, but from that day till this very second, I have that to lean on, and I know now what and who it was, and that was the Holy Spirit. To let me know it was all right. So anyways, things had got really, you know, they were still on the roller coaster ride after that. I mean, it's not like I was, oh, everything is great, and I'm, you know, puppy dogs and butterflies. You know what I mean?
Sounds like Joel Osteen.
Yeah, you know what? Don't even get me started on that guy. Or any of them, for that matter. We'll completely go off topic here. But no, you know, things got bad, and I had called my mom, and I was talking to her about it, and I asked her for, you know, what I need to speak to your priest. So she gave me his number, and I called him, and we spoke. And you know what? And this is her priest from the Russian Orthodox Church. But, you know, looking back in hindsight, every time I look back on it, I'm like, you know, he failed me because he still didn't preach the gospel to me, and that was his job. And he didn't share any scripture with me, and that was his job. And the insight that he gave me was not, it wasn't working for me, and he failed me there. And as a priest, at that time, I had even known with that what he was sharing with me just wasn't substantial. It wasn't doing anything for me. It had no meat behind it. It had no meaning behind it. And there was no saving power in anything that he said. And you know, every time I look back on it from now, it's the same. So anyways, I saw it. It was so in case you hadn't noticed, it was from the time that I felt the Spirit come over me to that time, and every time after, I was looking back on it now, I know that that was me seeking the Lord. I was seeking him out. He had found me. He had caused those things to happen to me. And I knew it was, looking through each one of those circumstances, I knew that it was something being caused. I had no part in it. And it was a result of that cause that was drawing me from somewhere I didn't want to, from somewhere that I was, that I wanted to be, but something else did not want me there. And so the whole time there was a calling and a drawing going on here. And so anyways, after the Spirit had come over me when I was in the shower that one day, I had this seeking out, this desire to find Christ. And I didn't have a Bible. There was no one around to, you know, take me to the scriptures or nothing. All I had was the Spirit and in a blind faith. So I'll push this forward a little bit.
We're stopping right at where you never had a Bible, and you were seeking out God.
Okay.
Okay, we'll have a short break.
All right.